Hi guys! I just got done creating an amazing video and I really am excited to share with all of you this amazing content. It's all about staying curious and how it leads us to our innovation and our creativity. I'm so excited. I really hope that all of you are just as eager to watch it as I was to create it. Bye. Staying curious and the tremendous benefits and immense life best practices, just that phrase of staying curious can truly contribute to your life, your well-being, and your future. And let me explain how. We often don't think that asking questions is going to really get us any further. And oftentimes, from our adolescence, we are told to really not ask questions. And fortunately, some of us, like myself, have always asked tons of questions, literally never-ending questions. And I don't blame myself. I think that most children grow up curious and they want answers. And when their parents and their teachers and community cannot provide them, I think it's a very good trait that you continue to question and learn more for yourself and not just accept what society teaches us, our parents, our family, and community and teachers tell us. So asking questions and staying curious has so many monumental benefits that I'm going to begin to go into, but I want to just go off at a slight tangent here about how much we as humanity, individuals, should really continue to push this for generations below us and even ahead of us, because really we never stop growing, we never stop learning, and we always use our own internal discernment to navigate this world. So I highly do recommend for those who do really want to see this world get to that next edge, try that idea on just for a little bit. The ability to stay curious affects us in all areas of our life. It affects us in our career, our work, our business. It affects us in our relationships with friends, family, and loved ones. It affects us in our parenting skills, how we interact with our children, how we respond to them, how we understand them better. Staying curious affects us when it comes to all forms of how we communicate and interact with the world. And so there's so many ways that staying curious offers tremendous benefits to how we perceive the world, how we are willing to understand others, how we communicate, how we transact as individuals and as businesses. It's a major player in how we can achieve higher levels of understanding in this world. So staying curious serves us all very well. We can learn so much about ourselves, about other perspectives and views. We can learn so much about where we really stand and where we're really going. It allows us to really capitalize on who we are in this world. And by asking questions, by, you can say, challenging the status quo to a degree, but by being open-minded about how we understand, how we perceive, how we learn, and how we interpret the world around us, this is extremely significant. And that's why I am creating this video, to really hone in and really target this theme, this very important and monumental experience that all of us should consider as we go about our lives. So, my favorite aspect of this theme of staying curious is the fact that it connects so greatly with our creativity and innovation itself. And that truly is what really gets me going. I have always been a big thinker. I can consider myself like a philosopher to a degree, just because I've constantly continued to think and question and use my ability of discernment and contemplation and provoking topics and subjects that many won't dare to do. And I'm okay with that. I've grown to be very familiar and comfortable in that element of really challenging the status quo, really pushing that envelope, really getting to the edges of all the things that I am interested in learning about. And that's just been me my whole life. That's nothing that I've done recently. It's just my DNA, it's who I am, it's who I've always been. So my favorite aspect of this theme of curiosity, staying curious, is that it leads us directly to two major components that are so critical for our lives as individuals and as companies, as business owners, as a collective. And like I said, innovation exists in our ability to maintain that curiosity that will lead us to our creativity. So let me repeat that one more time. Innovation exists in our ability to maintain our curiosity levels, which leads us to creativity. And that's so beautiful. It really is. So for those that resonate with that message, I'm so happy. I know for me it absolutely resonates because it's completely connected. Innovation, creativity, and our curiosity levels. This is how we evolve. This is how we push the envelope. This is how we really transcend from where we are to where we want to go. And we may not always know the destination or where we're going, but that's the beauty of it all. That's the beautiful aspect of really leveraging and utilizing your brain power and your mind and stimulating that mind to really think about different concepts in ways you maybe not have thought of before. It allows us to really grow out from this box that we've all been conditioned into and really go to the edges of our seats, which is going to the edges of our comfort zone. It's pushing ourselves to the most exterior levels, getting comfortable with uncomfortability. This all comes into the main component of staying curious. I'm going to share with you a couple examples and tips that I use every day that you can learn from and how to apply staying curious. I thought that maybe some of you out there would like to hear my tips and my examples of how I apply this on a regular basis and how I live my life in this manner. So, tip number one is thinking about how you ask questions in a different way. So, for example, we're living in this one-track mind unconsciously and subconsciously to a degree, and when we're in our own niche field or our zone, we have one hat on and we live in that mindset because that's our expertise and what we're supposed to do. And the moment we are given information, or we read an article, or we are in a conversation that's maybe not as familiar to us, we often reject or we feel uncomfortable because that's not our expertise, that's the main time you want to really trigger yourself and think of, wait a minute, okay, let me think about how I can really put a different hat on and conceptualize this question differently. So, like I said, how can you ask this question to yourself in a different way? Maybe one that's not familiar with you, but in a way that you can try on different hats, try on different ways to think of this information and perceive this information. That's step one. And if you can get that far, you are definitely on your way, for sure, okay? All right, number two. This is one of my favorite tips that I use almost every day. Tip number two is, how can you apply the answers you receive in a different manner? I'll repeat that again. How can you apply the answers that you are receiving from a question or from a topic or from a conversation in a different manner? One that you don't automatically come up with. So you have your natural mind that will give you the answers and perceive it for you. Now the step here to really integrate yourself and your mind is to think about how you can apply this answer in different ways. So if you read an article or you are studying a topic or researching a theme or a subject, as you research and as you learn, as you receive information on answers, right? Or as you come to conclusions with your answers, that's great that you can come to those conclusions on that topic, on that subject. However, one step further is to, after, feeling great that you got your solution and got your answer, think about how your mind came up with that answer and how that information can apply to other topics. Just sit with that just for a moment, because it's super critical for those who really understand what I'm really saying here. So I'm a very big thinker. I love my mind. I do, because it's just amazing. It's an amazing aspect to my body that I would never exchange for anything. My ability to think, my ability to put on different hats in the most random of topics and subjects and really conceptualize information, to me is an amazing super trait. And so I want to encourage those of you out there who are interested in being creative and bringing forth your creative spark and trying to apply this innovation tactic to not only your life but who you are as an individual, how you perceive the world, how you interact with the world, how you can help better the world. If we can all begin to step up our levels, we can really make some amazing things take place. And it really begins with ourselves. And so I would not be speaking upon this topic if I was not very well in tune with this process. And so when you read a book or a novel or a short story, when you read an article, whatever thing you may come across that is interesting to you, when you summarize that information, or if you come to a conclusion, just imagine where else this information could be applied. Maybe not exactly, but it's gonna cause within yourself the questioning, right? Well, let me think about this. Let me see how I can apply this information to other topics. And if it's too far of a stretch, start with similar topics, similar industries, similar subjects and themes and articles and stories. Start there, and then you work your way to completely unrelated topics, and you will see how endless and how beautiful and magnificent that your mind really is. And you will never go back to the old way of thinking. And that is, to me, amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. And my third tip that I hope you will appreciate is the ability to take all of the years, all of your experience, all of your learnings, all of your knowing, all of your research, right? And put it all together, leverage that, lump that, right? Put everything you've ever known, right? And apply that into ideas and problems and solutions in a different way, okay? I will repeat that because I think that when we're using our brain in this manner, and if we're not familiar with this, just processing it bit by bit kind of helps, really soak it in, and you may want to watch the video again later. All right, It's the ability to take all of the years, everything that we've ever known, and apply it to new ideas, new solutions, new thoughts, new subjects, new topics, and see where that takes us. So it's different from tip 1 and tip 2. So tip 3 is a little bit different. It's not too different, but it's specifically different if you are following this concept here, okay? It's taking all of your expertise, all of your experience, all of your work history, all of your schooling, all of your life experience, all of your person. So maybe you never worked. That's okay. As a parent, as a mother, as a child, you take all of it that you have, right? Whatever you have is enough, okay? So you take it all and you apply it to new ideas, new concepts, new questions. You don't let anything go off the radar. You leverage everything and you apply it with intention, with a purpose. So some may think, okay, well, of course, I do that all the time. But no, I don't think you are fully doing it with the complete awareness that I'm referring to. And if you are, then wonderful. I'm so happy you are ahead of the game. But for those who are not truly being aware and intentional about this tip number 3 can really be a game changer in how you interact and how you are able to really move the bar and advance the ball for yourself and for your life, okay? So staying curious leads us to the highest level of our creativity. And that's the beauty, because we are individuals and we are often not taught, or maybe society has not really accepted in a very pleasant way the creativity aspect of our lives, but it truly is an area that we will never be able to dismiss. No matter what happens in this world, no matter where we go, no matter what area you're in, what field you work in, no matter who you are, our creative mind will never cease to exist. We may suppress it, we may hide or ignore or run from it, but it is always there waiting for us to pull it in and pull it forward and lead with it, okay? So I hope that those 3 tips really make a difference in your life. So I want to conclude the video with a couple of really amazing facts and insights that I've learned along the way on my own journey of living in this world, okay? Staying curious keeps our minds open. It keeps our minds receptive to new possibilities. It keeps ourselves in this constant state of awareness, which I think is truly important. We all know that we have these mental faculties, but we often dismiss being receptive when we least expect it. And the way you train your mind to do so and to be able to grasp information coming through when we least expect it is to train it to be open to, let me see how I learn this new topic. If I'm going to research this article and dive deep into it, how else would I apply my knowledge on this topic? So you almost go into the research as a whole different person, and you're able to really grasp and get out so much more than you would have ever been able to imagine. And for those who understand what I'm referring to, or for those who are interested in this topic, you will be so mind blown with how much depth and how much deep this goes. And so I hope this is beneficial for anyone listening to the video. All right, again, asking questions forever, endlessly forever, asking questions until you're like dead. I'm not trying to sound mortal here, but it's so critical that you never stop asking questions. I don't care who would tell me that's enough. It will never be enough. I can be polite, but I'm not gonna stop. I don't have to be obnoxious doing this. You can do this from the comfort of your own home, and you can just brainstorm with yourself and keep digging and keep digging and keep thinking until you are satisfied, and let that thought lead to the other topic or different topics. And as you get better and better along the way, you will see how much ideas are spun from this process. You will see how much new awareness and how many opportunities and doors that are being opened in your mind that is all going to be fruit for you to just pick from, right, as you go on this process. And so I really hope that those listening take this message and this topic seriously. It's super dear to me, and I would not have created a video all about this if it wasn't something that was true to my heart. And as you can see back there, I even have my own little sign that says staying curious, because I always want to remember that at any moment in my day, at any time in my day, am I staying curious? Am I asking the right questions? And maybe you don't have the right questions depending on where you're beginning, but just keep asking and you will get there, okay? And then we must be thinking, visually, spatially, and intuitively. Truly, I will repeat that again. We must be thinking visually, so not only with our internal mind, but with our visual mind. We must be thinking spatially, as like with our physical awareness and what are we seeing, thinking in that perspective as well. And then we must be thinking intuitively with our intuitive mind. And I'm sure that everyone out there knows what your intuition is, but using it as a thinking faculty. So it's very specific to this, but again, visually, spatially, and intuitively. You will be very surprised what just might come up for you. All right, and to end this last segment here, the way you can also leverage staying curious on a very simple, practical, everyday level that everybody out there will relate to and resonate with, okay, is thinking about how you can leverage who you are as an individual, all of your traits, all of your skills, all of your talents, strengths, and abilities, and seeing how you can apply that in this modern world that we already are in and where we're going and the world that we're entering. It's going to be extremely important for all of us to really buckle down and understand what we have to offer and find different ways of value that we can be to the public, of service, of anything. As long as we are finding ways to leverage our own strengths, our talents, our gifts, our abilities to add value, real value, and contribute, then that's all we are asked to do. And so I encourage all of us that as we're on the topic of staying curious, that you, at a bare minimum, consider yourself. It's important. How else can you might be using your talents, your strengths, your gifts and abilities to add more value, to contribute more in a different way? How else can you use all that and push yourself out of your comfort zone? How can you grow and evolve? At the end of the day, there is no finish line. We're always growing, we're always evolving, and progress is really what makes us happy. So stay in alignment with who you are, do what feels good for you, and never stop asking questions. Stay curious. Always push to the edges of every edge, and then keep pushing.